Alright, let's solve the 2D Lego problem. So we are given a question like cover building. We are given a positive integer, which is literally it's an n. That is a formal Lego problem, and represent an n cross n city. So if we have like 3, that means like 3 is to 3 city. That means like 9 city. Not sure. Let's continue reading the question. We also given like 2-dimensional grid building, where building of index is a 2 integer arrays. X and Y denotes a unique building located at the location of XY. So a building is covered if there is at least one building in 4 directions, like left, right, above, and below. So we've written the number of the covered building. So if we have to skim through the HTML1, so we are given like 5 points. Let's try to draw something. So one thing we need to keep in mind that X and Y given here is different from the X and Y that we know in the mathematics problem before, because we are given like 1, 2, and 3 in here originally. Let me try to build the separate thing by using the separate color. Like this. Maybe much better. And then I'm gonna move from here to there. And 3. Alright. Next will be like this. Alright. I'm gonna change the color for the better understanding, but bear with me, you guys will be confusion of the color by seeing the graph. So it's better to use a different color for our lines. And then for the numbers record, so technically if in the mathematics we see like 1, 2, 3 goes like this. But okay, let's go with our understanding of how the mathematics works. So we given like 1, 2. Technically, the first index is the x, 1, 2, that is in here. And then next is a 2, 2, 2, 2, that's in here. And then 3, 2, 3, 2 is in here. Next step is a 2, 1, it's here. And then 2, 3 is here. So it stay okay. Alright, how about we try to draw all the points from the HTML2. Let me try to move the HTML2 to here. Let's try to break it down. So we are given like a 1, 1. So which is 1, 1 is here. And then this is a 1, 2. And then we are given like 2, 1. And then 2, 2. That is like literally different from what we understand the XY coordinate in the mathematics before. So that is why I was keep mentioning like we are required to check the given experiment if we don't want to mess up the solution for the whole problem. So the correct approach is by seeing the graph, let's say it's given like a 3 originally. And then we are going to drop the things like correctly by using their coordinate system. So if we understand like our coordinate system, let's try to create like denote the xy coordinate given in the building array, which is a 1, 2. 1, 2 is here. 2, 2 is here. And then 3, 2 is here. And then 2, 1 is here. 2, 1. And then 2, 3 is here. So among this building, we can notice that this building have matched with all the requirements given in the question before. A building is covered if there's at least one building in all 4 directions, left, right, above, and below. That is why we are returning the output as 1 in here. So that is a symbol. So by checking the asymmetry in here, we are receiving like, okay, pretty sure like there is no cover building in asymmetry 2. Let's go for the asymmetry 3. Okay, if we check the asymmetry 3, so we have only one after we plot all the buildings in the x and y coordinates. Yeah. Another thing to note is after we receive the n minimum number should be starting from 2. The building length could be the 1 to the 10,000. So for the building index x and y, that is a pretty simple, but x and y, everything starts from 1. That means we will not see any x or y starting at like 0, 1 or 0, 0 or 0, 2. So it's a 1 base index. And then all coordinates of the buildings are unique. So we should not have like buildings stacking each other on the block because it's technically not possible in the real world also. So that's why they are having a constraint like this. If I'm not wrong, this problem could be the hash map. Let's see. Yep, hash table and sorting and array. So that's I would say a really cool array question. So before we start, I'm gonna create some of the requirement. Like, let's try to move to here. We will probably need like 4 array, max min for rows, and then max min for columns. Normally I will create the one that is keep track of minimum of both row and column and maximum of both row and column, but that would be too much complicated. Let's try to make the array keep it simple. Let's call like maximum of row. That will be array repeating of let's call 0, and then count of the n plus 1. So everything here will be the n plus 1 for sure. And then next will be our minimum of row. So how can we denote that since we are drawing the minimum rows in here? Let me think about what is a better way to explain to you guys. My idea for original thinking was, if we are creating the minimum and maximum row, alright, let's just copy and paste. That would be better for us to create and explain in the near future. Let's go like maximum of row, maximum of column. That will be array, repeating 0, and count will be the n plus 1. And that will be the minimum of column. Alright, so after we receive like minimax for each row and column, what we need to keep in mind is that we are not supposed to use the 0 for our maximum minimum row and minimum column, because these two are very special. How do we say special? Let's say if we have a maximum row of y, let's consider let's focus on this part. Let's call it max row. And we're trying to, okay, if we're talking about row, that is like a y denotion. So we have to use the y in here. So that means like, if we are talking about the maximum row of y, that means we are trying to check the maximum x c in column y. So what does that mean is like, let's consider we are talking about the maximum row of 2. That means like y is 2 is here, this one. So we are talking about this row in here, and then we want to check like what is the maximum x we can see in the column y. So maximum of x mean like how many x is showing up in this row. That is what we want to check. So if we talk about the minimum row of y, we are checking the minimum of x seen in the y, just a reverse version above. But if we're talking about the minimum row, we will be comparing. Okay, let's try to do the for each for point in, let's call it point in building. So should be the points, and then we will got like 2 points. Let's call it x. Point of 0. Y will be the points of 1. So that's a simple thing. So first index 0 index is x and y index is y. And then I'm gonna check like if our x is greater than our max row of y. So max row of y mean like, do we have a maximum x in this given selected row? So if we're gonna see it, what are we going to do? We're gonna update our max row of y with the value of x. So I think that would be the same for the y. Let's call like max column of x, where be the max column of x, we update it with a y. But one thing, if we want to check about the minimum, so x is less than the minimum, let's call it minimum row of y. That is where the real problem comes in. Since we have a default values with everything zeros in here, whatever we check in the minimum row, that's going to be the always fall back to the else case in here. So what I am going to do that is not to fall back. I'm gonna use the number that is out of the given index. Let's see if we're given like n, maybe I will use like n plus 1. Or for better approach, maybe like integer dot max. The same for the minimum column, just use like minimum dot max. Sorry, it's an integer dot max. And I'm gonna update like minimum row of y with the x given here. The same for the condition here, like if y is less than minimum column of x, I'm gonna update the minimum column of x with the y. Alright, that's just a simple run through. And how about I just create the reset equal to 0 and just return the reset. What I really want to do, I just want to print out all the value that I was done in here. Let's call like print the max row. That will be the max row in here. And then we have minimum row. Just create like minimum row. Same for the max column. We will have like max column in here. That will be the main column. Then I will call like a main column. All right. Let's try to dry run just for HTML1, like what I'm exactly doing in here. So in here, if we can see like originally for the maximum row, we are putting 0 in here, but we keep comparing like what is the best number we could find. Like maximum row. Row mean like each row is equal to the y. That means we are dealing with like 2 2, 2, 1, and 3. That's how we got like 2, 3, 2 in here. So for the minimum rule, we are dealing with 2, 1, 2. Yeah, that is what I really want to do. Based on that, what we can calculate is we only need the very messy, not the messy, it's a very simple condition, which is given here. So if we use and apply the condition and we do the condition in here, so we could get the answer that we want. Let's call like points in building again. But this time I still need the x and y. X will be the point of 0 and then y will be the point of 1. But in the nested condition here is if x is greater than, is technically the same as the above condition, like minimum row. So we just reverse everything what we have done in here, and then we can get the answer that we want. So in here we have like minimum row. Okay, let's try to start with the maximum row. Since the maximum row is checking the greater than, we're gonna use the reverse of max row of y, and x is greater than minimum row of y, and y is less than max colon of x, and y is less than minimum colon of x. If yes, our result will be plus equal to 1. That's it. Let's try to run and see how it's work or not. Alright, stupid me, I always have a typo. Yep, and then it's ran, and then if we try to submit, our space and time complexity will be O of n and m for the time, because we use the two arrays in here, but see and double check. Yep, O of n and m for the time complexity. For the space complexity, that will be the O of n, since we don't use any extra array aside from these 4. Yeah, that's pretty much for it, and see you in the next one. And I would really recommend to practice well for this array problem if you really want to master in the topics like arrays and hash map. But we still can use the hash map to solve, but maybe if I have a few times, I will try to solve the problem with the hash map, and I will upload the video for this. Yep. Thank you again, and see you in the next video. Bye.